And we just want today to be focused on fun and festive and celebrating all of the commitments and talents and intelligence and support and abilities of the women in our lives, our mothers and sisters and daughters, our co-workers, and we just want this to be a positive experience for everybody. I want to acknowledge a few people before we get moving too far here. We have some elected officials that are here, and I'm sorry if I missed anybody, but I know that Mayor Davenport is here. We hear from Mayor Davenport, Mayor of LaGrange. Our Deputy Judge Executive, John Black, is here. And our fearless leader of Oldham County, our Judge Executive, David Vogel. I'm not sure if I missed any magistrates or city councilmen. If you're here, please raise your hand. Okay. I want to thank our elected officials for the support they give our organization and the efforts they put into helping us do what we do. For those of you that don't know, we have a lot of new faces in here, and we have some people from outside of Oldham County that are coming to visit, which is exactly what we want to happen. We want people to come see what we have to offer in Oldham County and know what our business community is like and what we have to offer as far as moving forward in our region. We have an excellent panel to represent that. We have a board of directors that are here. Some of our board members, raise your hand if you're a board member on our chamber. Steve Emery and Jason Morgan, thank you guys for your dedication to us. We were a Chamber of Commerce, but we were also merged with Economic Development. And what that allows us to do as an organization is, in addition to try to work with our local business leaders and cultivate the business community that we have, we are also responsible for attracting and helping our local businesses expand. And we couldn't do that without the support of our elected officials and the contribution made by our top investors. We have several top investors here today I would like to acknowledge. From Baptist Health, LaGrange, Bone Dry Roofing, one of our new top investors, Noteworthy Creative, Norton Brownsboro Hospital, PNC, and Oldham County Environmental Authority. We're glad that they're here today to support us. Without their investment in our chamber and organization, we wouldn't be able to do the things that we do. I also want to thank our members who are here, and if you're a non-member and you're interested in being a member, please find one of our staff members and talk to us about what we can do to support your business and help you engage here in Oldham County. I also want to thank Karen Greenwell and City Place for the magnificent job they do. How about a round of applause for City Place? It's not... How many people, it was the first time they've been in one of the pavilions here at City Place? Isn't it great? This is available for corporate training. This is available for weddings and receptions and all kinds of things. So it's a great space. Karen and Recindo are wonderful to work with, and you can find Karen over here to talk to if you're interested in finding out more about City Place. I want to thank PNC Bank for being our title sponsor for this event. Without them, we wouldn't be able to have the event. Norton Brownsboro Hospital is sponsoring the lunch that we have, which is wonderful. How about the food and the dessert table there and the tablescape? We also have CareSource that sponsored our registration table, and All-Star Entertainment that has sponsored our panel today. Nick Kersey over here. If you need it, best wedding DJ this side of the Gene Snyder Expressway, ladies and gentlemen. Just call Nick. I'm about to bring up one of our Tablescape sponsor, award sponsor from Ellen Federal Credit Union, but before I do that, I also wanted to acknowledge, as the only male working in an office full of women, I need to at least acknowledge the efforts that make this possible. Our staff is amazing. Those of you who know them know that's the truth. Missy Klein, our office manager, who's not able to be here today, but also May Marks, our business outreach manager. Is May here? There she is, May Marks, our new addition. And if you haven't met her yet, you're gonna. And special thanks to Camille Coltrane, who is not here right now. She is over in the other pavilion. Is Camille in here? Camille is our programs and events manager, and she does a fantastic job. And she has our ballots that we're gonna do now. Is she on her way over? Yeah, let's do it. Also, this event started 7 years ago, and the concept of it has grown. I mean, you just look. I think our first tablescape luncheon that we had with this theme. We probably had 12, 13 tables, which grew. Last year we had 17. This year I think we're at 24, 25 tables. So this whole effort started as a brainchild of my predecessor and my friend, Dina Karam, who is here today. Let's hear for Dina. Dina has moved on. She is now the Vice President of Regional Development for Greater Louisville, Inc., and she is responsible for helping coordinate the growth in our region, and she is a strong champion for Oldham County, and we are glad of the work that she's currently doing, and we owe a lot of the growth of this program to the hard work and the concepts that she put together. So thank you, Dina, for all that you've done for us. At this point, we are going to we're going to start off with some fun awards. I think that, how about a round of applause for the tablescapes and the amazing, the most common question I get about this event is, when are we going to have a celebration of men? And my answer is, well, we're still planning it. For 7 years we've been planning it and talking about it. We put an empty table in the back to represent what happens when men are in charge of putting together a tablescape. But we're excited about the theme of the event, and we're gonna start this off by, I'm gonna have one of our sponsors come up from L&N Federal Credit Union. Please welcome Jennifer Fries. And we're gonna do our awards. Jennifer, would you take a minute and talk to them about L&N?
Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Fries, and I'm with L&N Federal Credit Union. It is an absolute pleasure and so much fun to be here today. I look around, and everybody is really a winner, for lack of a better term. There's a lot of dedication and hard work that went into these tables. And we're right there. Go L&N. But L&N just opened our first branch in the Oldham County area. We are at exit 14 inside the new Walmart. So if you haven't had an opportunity to step inside that Walmart, please do so. It's a great branch, and we are thrilled to serve the Oldham County community. With that being said, I think we're ready to kick off the winners here. So, I'm quick.
All right, Camille is still counting the ballots, ladies and gentlemen, if you're wondering what's going on logistically here. Let's do this. I would like to see if Judge Vogel would be willing to come up and say a few words. He's always very eloquent with his talk. I'm sorry, I'm springing it on him now, but look, we have a logistical issue going on. Judge Vogel, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I'm happy to kill a minute or two here. Just give me the high sign. I'll keep talking till I see it, which won't be too depressing. I'm really happy to be here today with you, and I'm looking forward to hearing the ladies who are going to speak on our panel today. Unfortunately, I'm told one of the panelists had illness in her family and we can't make it, but I was really hoping to be able to speak with her, because I had some news for her. Maggie Keith was going to be here, but she's had the illness in the family. She's actually the great-great-great-great-granddaughter of the person our county is named after, Colonel William Oldham. And I don't think she knows that, but I've been doing some research on Colonel Oldham and have found that out. I'm thinking today, because we're here with ladies, that Colonel Oldham was the person the county was named after, but his wife was a very important person in, obviously, their family, and they had 5 children, and he lost his life fighting with British and the Indians up in Ohio when their family was young. His wife and daughter later remarried. His wife remarried, and the daughter also married. They married 2 brothers from the Churchill family. And we all know that name, Churchill, and that they were part of the family that sold the property that Churchill Downs wound up on. So Colonel Matt Wynn was actually the guy that raised Churchill Downs from a racetrack into phenomena, but we certainly appreciate the part that Colonel Oldham's wife played in the pioneer development of those days. So I think my time may be up here, so I thank you for yours, and I hope we enjoy the afternoon.
Thank you, Judge. We call this an organic presentation where we just let things happen as they happen. So thank you guys for your patience. I'm going to bring Jennifer back up here, and she is going to give out our Tablescape Awards that you guys just voted on. So please welcome to the stage again, Jennifer Fries from L&M.
All right, is anybody good at a drum roll out there? One. Perfect, thank you. The winner of the Best Corporate Themed Tablescape Award goes to Baptist Healthcare LaGrange. Next up is the People's Choice Tablescape Award. The winner is the Oldham County Public Library. And last but certainly not least, Best Celebration of Women Tablescape Award goes to Dalbo Insurance, Kelly Weekly. Thank you all so much for the opportunity to be here today. And again, come and see us. We love Oldham County.
When we first started this program, we had a Woman of Distinction Award that we've given out every year. And sadly, a few years ago, we lost a very close friend to our community who was very involved in putting together this program. It was his idea to do the Tablescape theme, which has grown and just made this such an amazing event. He was the publisher at the Oldham Era. He was a friend to all of us. He spent time making sure he was engaged in the community that he was reporting on, and he was available and approachable and helpful, and he is very much missed. So we've renamed our award the Tony Cotton Woman of Distinction Award, and it's my pleasure to present that to you. We had a lot of nominees for this award, and all of them very deserving. The committee that selected the winner had a long conversation about it, but everybody unanimously agreed that this person was very worthy of the award that celebrates women's spirit of entrepreneurship, their commitment to the community, and their commitment to family. And we think that the winner of this award exemplifies that best. Jean Shum has raised a family with 5 children, married to Walt Shum, which, I mean, that enough right there. Married to Walt Shum. Give her an award. But she has, over the course of time, she found a need in our community and filled it. She's one of the people that stepped up to make Oldham County better and the people around her. And she created an organization called Operation Parent, which helps parents and equips them with resources to deal with teens that are struggling through difficult times. It's something here that it's easy to think, well, that's great, we have something like that in Oldham County, but when you consider the impact that our youth has, especially considering we have the most educated county in the state, we have the best school system in the state, and we have to consider that even though we are so successful with our children that come out of Oldham County, many of them are struggling, and many of them need help. And it's good to know that there are people here that would step up to the plate and help make it possible for them to be successful and help parents. It affects us in our offices, with employees, with people who are leaders. When they have a child who is struggling, it's hard for them to focus on what they're doing. And this need has been overly met by the efforts of Operation Parent. Operation Parent's headquarters here in LaGrange and offers a parent-driven model for parent education that's been duplicated in schools, churches, and communities all over the region. And it offers a variety of lifelines for parents, including handbooks, classes, speaker events, community presentations, drug kits, resources, and a website that's available for everybody to use at any time. It's my privilege to award this year's Tony Cotton Woman of Distinction Award to Jean Schoen. Jean, can you come up? Yes.
I don't have a speech prepared, but I do have to say thank you. This has been a blast. I'm not busy tomorrow if you want to do it again. But we love what we do at Operation Parent, and I just want you to know if you're ever struggling as a family, whether it's your child, your niece, your nephew, your grandchild, we're just an organization that want to love on parents. We want to love on grandparents because it's a crazy culture that our children are growing up in. And I want you to know that there's an organization there that will always provide hope, so no parent ever feels alone, no teen ever feels alone, and it is a privilege and an honor to serve the community, and I feel very loved. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jean. Okay, let's get our panel discussion started. Right now, I'm going to bring May Marks up here, our Business Outreach Manager, who's going to introduce the panel and lead the discussion. May, could you join us? Let's hear it for May Marks, ladies and gentlemen. The best Business Outreach Manager ever in Oldham County.
So when I started here in January and was given the opportunity to work on the Celebration of Women panel, I knew that we are really looking to expand the scope of our programming, and I decided to look a little farther than just our back door and see kind of who else is in our region, and these amazing women popped up. So I'm really excited to have them here today. And kind of the game plan is they're going to introduce themselves to all of us and tell us a little bit about the industries that they work in, the business that they do every day. Then I'm going to ask them a few individual questions, and then we're going to talk about Oldham County and what we can do to better foster this type of innovative and exciting work here amongst ourselves. So that's kind of our game plan, and then we'll have a Q&A, so be thinking of awesome questions to ask. That would help me out if there were some questions and not crickets when I asked. So if we can kind of just go down the line, I think that might be the best way to go.
Well, hi, my name is Ellie Puckett, and I'm the Director of Business Operations for Space Tango Inc., and we're based out of Lexington, Kentucky. And Space Tango designs and builds integrated systems that enable microgravity research. I know that's a mouthful, so what it is in English is basically people pay us to put their experiment in space. And so they pay us to put their experiment in space, and we have a box, a glorified box that we call a lab, that these experiments go in. And the box is connected to the internet. It goes inside the International Space Station and is plugged into the internet, and the data from our customers' experiments come down back to Earth through a web-based user interface, just like FedEx tracking. So you can track your package now you can track your experiment in space. So that's kind of what we do, and we're really small startup, but we have had some amazing success, and we're kind of built off of a nonprofit that's existed in Lexington for the past 10 years, and a bunch of students who were in that got to kind of start this space science economy in Kentucky, and I'm just really excited to be a part of it.
My name is Kathy Mills. I'm with Strategic Communications, and my business is not as happy as what her business is, I can guarantee you. That's very fascinating. Strategic Communications, we provide voice, video, data, and cloud solutions to the public and private sector. We've been in business since 1992. Our corporate headquarters are in Louisville, Kentucky. We started out very small, actually, in 1982 with our first computer store, and just as you know, in small businesses, you make major transitions, throughout that life cycle. Our core competencies are actually providing cybersecurity solutions for the federal government, collaboration, which of course, when you talk about collaboration, it's now voice over IP, wireless networks, VTC, and then of course cloud. And we actually have engineers on site here in Louisville, Kentucky, and throughout the United States that will engineer, install, and deploy these systems. We also work with a lot of small businesses, a lot of subcontractors in different geographic areas, whether we subcontract to them to help with small businesses or they subcontract to us, one or the other. But we have a really great network of subcontractors that we also utilize in order to be successful.
I'm Amanda Duffy, President of Global City FC, and I just want to start by asking who here has been to a Louisville City home game? Well, by invitation now, I invite you all. We're home this Saturday. We play at Slugger Field. Free ticket, you're my guest. Please come find me afterwards or through May, through the Chamber of Commerce to get the ticket. I invite you all out. I think if you come once, you'll certainly come back. I've been a part of soccer as a player, coach, administrator, and executive for more than 30 years, and have been a part of the sport in its most transformative years, the last 5 to 7, where we've seen Major League Soccer and United Soccer League really move into competing, at least Major League Soccer competing with the big four major league sports as we know them. From supporter culture, from attendance, from corporate engagement and involvement, television exposure, we've seen this sport grow to compete at the world stage, where all other leagues around the world are competing, and some of the biggest international stars coming to the United States to play. United Soccer League, the league that Louisville City competes in, lost my train of thought there. In 2012, formed an official partnership with Major League Soccer, which has seen MLS and its first teams continue to help expand USL by adding B teams into USL. At the same time, USL has grown from a 16 league in 2010 to a 29-team league in 2016. So it's just been exponential growth. Louisville City was launched and announced in 2014, has local ownership group. We play at Slugger Field. We're in season right now. In 2015, our inaugural season, we saw the team finish second in the standings, Eastern Conference standings, made it to the Eastern Conference Championship. We as a team also were second in average attendance across the last year, the 2014 league. The results and success that we had enabled the mayor, the city of Louisville, and the CBB of Louisville to commission a consultant to do a stadium site selection financing study, as well as a multi-sport complex study that we anticipate learning results on in the next 30 to 60 days. Right now, we're sitting top of the Eastern Conference standings as well as top of the league standings, so we're having another successful year. I look forward to sharing more information about it and sharing the stage with these ladies today.
I have such cool friends. So in my preparation, I think I could recite all 3 of these LinkedIn profiles word for word. I could probably just do this panel on my own, playing all the parts, but instead I will ask a few questions. So I'd like to start with Kathy, because I know part of what we're here to do today is kind of inspire, hopefully, the other women and celebrators of women in the room. And I know that you have a really interesting story as to how you got into entrepreneurship through the experiences of your life. But then also, I think we'd all be interested to hear more about how you were able to sustain the kind of passion that starts entrepreneurship into such a successful career in an industry that is very dynamic and always changing, and Strategic Communications has been able to stay at the forefront of that industry for a really impressive amount of time. So if you could just kind of take us on that journey for a second.
Well, first I want to say that, it's not all about me, although sometimes we can get caught up in that it's a me mentality. But success is your team, 100% in anything that you do. And one of the primary reasons why that we have been able to sustain over a long period of time is the team. It's the passion of your team, and when they come to work every day, that they love coming to work every day. And you read the book about getting people on the bus and putting them in the right seat. It's so true. I mean, it is 100% true. You know, you have talent and being able to find what they're passionate in and making sure that you're putting them in that role and that they're not in a role where they are going to die and where they can't succeed. You know, I have found that that is one of the primary reasons that we've done a great job, not just me, but the managers, the leaders of the company, of being able to take the talent that we have and put them in the right place. As far as, you know, how did I get started and the passion, you know, I am one that even when I was very little, not that I'm very tall now, but when I was younger, you know, I always wanted to be my own boss. I always wanted to make money. I started working when I was very, very young. And my parents actually instilled within all of us, and by the way, I have 6 brothers and 1 sister, and they're all business owners. Every single one of them, we own our own business. So when you look at that, and we come from a family, we would have been considered low income. We did not have the finer things in life. But what we did have is we had a lot of love. Our parents did not let us get away with excuses. They made us take the gifts, and I say made because sometimes it seemed like not encouragement, but, you know, pushing, that the Lord gave us, and they made us use those gifts. And when we did make mistakes, they didn't let us, lay down and cry about it. They made us get up and recognize that when you fail, you learn, you gain knowledge, and from then, you go out and you do it again until you get it right. And I've used a lot of that throughout my career, that failures to me are not failures. It's an opportunity to learn, and it's an opportunity to grow. And that's what we've tried to do within our organization. We don't look at people when they make mistakes as failures. To me, that's my failure, or that's a manager's failure. What did we do wrong that we can now improve to make them successful? So I think that's a lot to do with how we've been able to be sustainable.
Thank you. I think that's really important to hear. We have a lot of small business owners in the audience, and to hear that, there's different strengths that each employee might have and the importance of finding the right spot for them. I don't know if Dave expected to let me moderate a panel when I started this job, but he has managed to let me place my skills where they fit. So thank you for sharing that. I'd like to speak next with Amanda about, I played sports growing up, and I have a degree around sports, but I found a difficulty in transitioning the passion of a game toward the business side of working in that industry. And if you could kind of take us along your journey of how you played, and then you decided that maybe you wanted to be in the managerial side of sports, and how that might work in other industries where someone has a passion about something and is trying to find a way to make a living doing that, and what that transition kind of looked like.
Sure. So I started playing soccer when I was 5 years old and played through college. I played professionally after college here in the United States, and then a year abroad as well, which I always, when in talking with younger athletes and the opportunities that they have, it's something I always encourage to go abroad, because I think from the life experience alone of being able to get out and be exposed to a different culture, different lifestyle, and learn from that is invaluable. So I played a year overseas in Sweden, and then at that time I knew it was something, I was ready at that point to let go of the playing side, which was a difficult decision, but I'll say physically after playing a game, my body was not too happy with me anymore, so helped with that decision. But it was always, it's what I did as a child. I mean, when I was home, I wasn't on a couch, I wasn't watching TV, I was in a yard, I was kicking a soccer ball, breaking a few windows, doing those things. And when I was going through college, I wasn't 100% certain what I wanted a degree in, but I always stayed and had the most interest in the sports realm, the exercise realm, the health realm, and ended up getting a degree in exercise and sports science, and then a master's degree in sport administration. And at that time in my life, the playing opportunities, they were few and far between, and I knew that my career wasn't going to extend another 10 years as a player. So I was going to really need to start thinking at that moment what the future for me looked like. And I was fortunate to be able to I went to school at East Carolina University. University in North Carolina. I was able to stay as a graduate assistant coach there and really get my feel for what it would like to be in the coaching world, and if that was going to be the path that I wanted to pursue. I just felt connected to this sport in a way that I knew I was going to always continue to pursue that. I wasn't certain if it was coaching, if it was going to be college administration, if it was going to be corporate sports in the way that I am now. But through that, I was able to get my toe in the water through the graduate assistant coaching position. I had to do an internship. I went down to Tampa, Florida, where United Soccer League is headquartered. Got my toe in the water of the corporate side of the sport and learned a little bit from a national landscape instead of being on the field and in the world that I had lived up until that point. I was still planning to continue doing that, and when I came back from Sweden, I was fortunate to be able to get a position at USL in Tampa. And was it exactly what I wanted or thought it would be as my first job? No. To be honest, I thought it was a little bit beneath me, but I just needed an opportunity, and I knew that. So once I got my foot in the door and had a full-time position, same with me as far as growing up, had a lot of love and care, but work ethic was number one in my household. And with any opportunity I was given, I knew it was going to be up to me and my responsibility at that point to put in the work and learn and show that I had the ability to excel at any task I was given. And I quickly moved through the ranks at USL in an administrator role, and then I was doing operations for the league that we compete in now, USL. USL, just to give a little bit of framework, is a pyramid structure of youth leagues all the way up through professional. So you have youth, you have amateur men, amateur women, and then also professional men. So it was a pyramid system. Moved up to the director of operations for USL, and then transitioned over to the women's side, where I was a senior director and doing more of the strategic planning for the W League, which at the time was the highest level of women's soccer in the United States and Canada. We had teams in both countries. So it just gave me an opportunity to really work in a lot of different spectrums, a lot of different levels of the sport, both genders of the sport. And then when I came to Louisville City, I actually came as the vice president of operations, and then moved 2 months later, moved into the general manager role, and then last November was moved into the president's position of the club. So for me, it has been all about work ethic and being open to change, open to learning, and understanding that as much as sometimes I might think I know everything, I really don't know everything, and being open to really learning during the opportunities that I have. So, but for me, it's a passion, and I love every bit of what I do. There was probably a 6-month period where right after my internship, before I left for Sweden, I explored going down the insurance route, getting out of sports, and just trying something a little bit different. And that was all I needed was just a few months to know that wasn't going to be something that I was going to be successful at, because I wasn't passionate about what I was doing, and I knew I had that here. And although the process was going to be, the path was going to be long and sometimes hard for a female in sport at the time, I had the passion to do it and was willing to really get in and grind it out and find my way to where I was going to enjoy it and be successful.
Wow, I find it really interesting that you're in two very different industries, and yet you seem to have a lot of the same background, that there's a core to how to be successful, no matter what kind of path you take toward that. And I bet Ellie is going to say that she has a lot of the same experiences as well. So Ellie, I find it very interesting that Kentucky Space is doing such incredible work in a state where people wouldn't expect international exomedicine research to be taking place. And so I'd like to ask you about how it is to work in an industry where innovation is expected and it is triumphed, but you're also geographically in an area that's very traditional and isn't maybe aware of the type of industry that's thriving in Kentucky. And if you faced any challenges around kind of the lack of awareness of that industry and what we all can do as innovative business people to make sure that we're helping to foster that type of innovation that's going to bring the jobs to Kentucky that we are interested in, and also help people stay here when they recognize that that type of opportunity is also here.
Yeah, I think that there's kind of a story to be painted there. But a lot of times when I tell people what Space Tango does specifically, and that actually this nonprofit organization, Kentucky Space, has existed for 10 years in Kentucky, people say, why Kentucky? And it's kind of like one of those moments where I completely understand why they're asking, but at the same time, I'm disappointed that the person from Kentucky is asking me why the really cool business is in Kentucky. It's just like frustrating. It's like, well, why not Kentucky? We have really smart people. We have awesome, we have awesome universities, and we need really cool jobs to keep those people here. And so when I came to Kentucky Space, which Space Tango is a for-profit entity that was started out of Kentucky Science Technology Corporation, which is based in Lexington, and the chairman of president and chairman of that is an extremely innovative person who just started the company 30 years ago, and all they've done is start little companies to do cool stuff. And so 10 years ago, he started Kentucky Space because he just saw this opportunity to bring a space industry to Kentucky. There were these things called CubeSat satellites that were the size of a tissue box that were getting launched, and he thought it was an education opportunity for our universities to get involved. And from that, some of the students who worked on those CubeSat satellite projects and who did these space engineering are the students who started Space Tango. And so what our now chairman's vision had come true, that, hey, if I teach the students that this opportunity is available, then the companies and the economic development will follow. And so that's kind of how Space Tango got started. And when I came to it, I came from the business perspective. And they came and said kind of to me, hey, you're a person with a degree in entrepreneurship, and I had a fake company at the time, I was still in school, called What the Crate. And since that idea is going to be so lucrative, why don't you go help these space guys instead? So I'm really thankful for the person who told me not to start What the Crate. But, it was a great business plan. They saw that I had it, but maybe not my business had what it took. So, anyways, when I came into it, I came from a business perspective of, hey, there's these engineers here who have these great ideas, but they really need a way to tell their story. And when I got into it, I realized that that's not just true for this 1, 2, 3 set of engineers who have some good ideas and need to tell their story. It turns out Kentucky's #1 export by a very, very large margin, like we're talking, it's 56% of all of our exports out of the state, is aerospace products. And no one knew. And it was, it's $8.6 billion. And we export everything from satellite dishes to airplane parts to lots of things fall under aerospace exports. But when you think of Kentucky, you think of bourbon, which thank you for the gift.
You're welcome.
And you think of
Jefferson, Oldham County's own Jefferson.
Yeah. You think of bourbon and horses and beautiful scenery, and all that stuff is fine and good, but it has shaped how other people on the outside's perspective of Kentucky is. Instead, we're not telling the story of, hey, we also have really intelligent people here, and we have really innovative ideas, and we have cool companies, and in fact, we have excellent manufacturing. And unfortunately, that story is not getting out. And so I came from the perspective of helping that story get out, helping these engineers. And so from where I sit now, people are so surprised at their space science business. And so that's why I was happy to take this, because I want everyone in the state to know that we're not the only space science company in Kentucky. And we are the only one doing aerospace manufacturing and doing some really cool stuff. And so just try to get more involved and get knowing and tell people that instead of asking, hey, why are you in Kentucky, say to other people who are on the outside, you should really move to Kentucky, because we have low cost of living, really smart people, and people that want to change the current landscape of what we say about our state.
I agree. Yes. Ellie's gonna take my job.
Yeah.
I've been economic development for a while. It's okay. So, kind of moving away from your individual industries and more toward women in business, Oldham County has a lot of really smart kids coming out of high school. We have some of the best schools in the state. As women high up in businesses, I know Ellie brought a couple of her interns with her today, actually. Hi, intern.
Yesterday they built cabinets, so today I decided they needed lunch.
What are you looking for out of new graduates, and what are the maybe 22nd century skills really that you're looking for that might go beyond the ability to, do the right math and know how to write the correct form of a business letter, and into those more intangible skills that maybe it's up to our business community to make sure that our young people are gathering inside and outside of school, and if there's anything specific to those non-specific things.
We currently work with JCPS schools, and they have a committee now that they formed that's specifically geared toward students who are interested in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. And we believe that those skill sets that we need to keep those students, starting from middle school, who have those skills up through high school, to keep them here in Louisville, Kentucky. And we have found that percentage-wise, a lot of them, when they graduate, they're moving outside of Kentucky because perhaps maybe they don't know that there's some technology or some companies here that actually will, help them achieve their dream of innovativeness, right? That being said, what we're trying to do is we're trying to encourage Kentucky businesses to bring these students on during the summer months, have them within your organization as an internship to teach them entrepreneurship and on the job, either if it's IT, whether it's sports related, whether it's in space technology, to keep them, to grow their passion, and if you're growing their passion, they have their family here, hopefully they'll stay here. They're, to encourage them to open up their own businesses, that there are, there's programs available for that. I wasn't even aware of the Kentucky Science Program, and I'm actually the technology company that you're talking about, which I'm going to bring that to the next board meeting that we have. But we're looking at starting with creative ways to keep those students here, because if they leave, that means opportunity for the entire state goes away. I mean, those dollars are going to another state. So those are some of the things that we're trying to encourage the city as a whole within the school system, because I believe it's too late once that when they graduate from school or college, that by that point in time, if they're not invested in Louisville, they're not going to stay here. If you haven't given them a reason to, they're going to go.
Yeah, and one of the things is, we started in schools. I was in school when I was founded, and so I think that is really, really important. But a big part of that also is and I'm singing the economic development thing, is there needs to be jobs.
Yeah.
Like, most of our guys ended up going and interviewing at the SpaceXs of the world and in California because they didn't have the opportunity. And in fact, I get phone calls from people pretty established at NASA all of the time, begging for a job at Space Tango because they just want to move back here. So it's not that people don't want to stay here. They want to raise their families here. They want to do that because it's a great place to live, but they can't find enough they can't find the innovation jobs that they're looking for.
Well, give us a minute and they will find it in Oldham County. Yes. So we ran a little late with lunch, so I can't sit up here and talk with my favorite new friends for any longer, but we so appreciate you coming out here and sharing your wisdom with us, and we're looking to get Oldham County